to the Visionary Activist Show, and I'm your weaver of context, Caroline Casey. Whoa, here we are. What a world. So we are dedicated to defiant joy honed by adversity and the power of story and irresistible, woofy, outspoken eloquence and satire and irony. Again, how it is and how it should be. Liberating Trickster in all of us lives in discrepancy. Remember, Trickster comes alive in nature and in us at a time of danger. And we go, now. Tonight is Stephen Colbert's last show. The baton of outspoken, sharp, smart satire with a kind heart be passed to all of us, finding a way out of no way. And remember, it's his speaking out and calling, CBS paying a bribe of $16 million to Trump. It was a bribe, that caused him to be canceled or removed. And tonight, but he's been doing a great job, Bruce Springsteen, embrace of everything, and we remember finding a way out of no way. Our guide, High John the Conqueror from the South, we will invoke him, and Scheherazade, the power of the woman storyteller, all the trickster storytellers who quicken in times of danger, enlivened by against all odds. And that includes the tale of Maruf the Cobbler, the very last story from Alph Layla, 1001 Nights, about conjuring the impossible desirable. And a great book we are featuring from Dial Press, New Allies, How We See It, from the celebrated magazine of international writing, 12 sharp global perspectives on a changing United States, with an introduction by Dial's editor-in-chief, Madeleine Schwartz. Soon, future guest, those writers and Madeleine Schwartz. How wonderful. We're all connecting. And right now, the chart of now is like it's participatory, right? It's not what's going to happen. It's what's available with which to cooperate. So the sun has just entered Gemini, and who should be waiting for the sun but Uranus trickster genius right next to Mercury? A very powerful pattern coming up, which is Uranus will station at 4 Gemini, whose image is a radical magazine circulating liberating ideas. That's us, team. Trining Pluto at 4 Aquarius, the Council of Ancestors. Young leader listens to their voices. To the ancestors, we're all young. And let me just bring in a heartening thing from Philip K. Dick, right? We bring in everything heartening. And he says, exalted, not upward, but downward, animal, more tuned to actual matter. This is important right now. Mars in Taurus, reblooming the Earth, square Pluto in Aquarius. Animism, embodied. The new moon behind us is about embodying all of our story, all of our teachings, all of our lineage from everywhere. So what Philip K. Dick writes, he says, my incompetence had called these invisible friends forth. Had I been more gifted, I would not know of them. It was in my mind a good trade. Because of my limitations, an entire new universe had revealed itself to me. A benign and living hyper-environment endowed with absolute wisdom. Wow, I said to myself, you can't beat that, right? He came up with the phrase VALIS, Vast Active Living Intelligence System. So part of our assignment is to be fully informed just how sketchy and horrible the whole thing is, and then what's possible. Again, the power of irony, which is, what is and what should be, right? And Trickster lives in the discrepancy. Just let me say it again. And that's for all of us. What is and what should be. What is and what is our liberating blessing. So we're offering this great book. It's just about to come out from Dial Press, How We See It. And I love how I found it. We'll talk about connections. And that's for a pledge of, I have it here, $110 for the donation. A donation, that's what we're calling it now, a donation. And just to put it out front, because this is the last day of fundraising for the Visionary Activist Show. It's been long, but this is worthy, and this is really a lively, spicy, available chart. It says to each of us, where would each listener citizen, each listener Earth citizen, like genius? I love Terry Pratchett saying genius is always sleeting through the universe until it finds a receptive molecule. And then it's like Shakespeare. So for us, right now, as we dedicate inwardly, what is our dedication to the world? inward dedication and outward pledging, right, strengthens our signal. So we're more likely to be danced into place with that with which we are in accord. And so the Sun, Uranus, Mercury, Uranus says to each one of us, I'm your booking agent. I'm Trickster. I'm against all odds. Here we go. I'm going to connect everybody and this station and this show to the coolest things possible. And all I want from everybody is just do it now. Why not? Just for the fun of it. No, don't have to do anything, but only if we want our life to work will we just throw up our arms, unless you're driving, and go, I'm available and I'm willing. We are available and willing. And remember, available is a great word. Etymologically, it means capable of great effective good. So, and through it all, Darija, Moroccan Arabic, I've been taking my little tiny lessons. Many, many ways in Darija, Moroccan Arabic, to say no problem. Moshi moshkil, no problem. And I go, right, moshkil gusha, the remover of all difficulties. From Caravan of Dreams. Oops, I'm just reaching for something. Here, there, I'm back. We've been bringing that alive again, right? It's from the Idris Shah's book, Caravan of Dreams, a wonderful book. I've had mine since 1970. The same book right before me, for a pledge of $110. But he starts off by saying, in one of the best tales of the Arabian Nights, Maruf the Cobbler found himself daydreaming his own fabulous caravan of riches. Destitute and almost friendless in an alien land, Maruf at first mentally conceived and then described an unbelievably valuable cargo on its way to him. Instead of leading to exposure and disgrace, this idea was the foundation of his eventual success. The imagined caravan took shape, became real for a time, and arrived. May your caravan of dreams, too, find its way to you. And then just briefly, because Tahir Shah, the son of Idris Shah, retells that story. Stories are meant to be retold. They come alive with each telling, right? And but as I remember it, Maruf he's married to Fatima the Dung, right? A terrible woman. She sends him out to bring, sugar-covered pastry, and he brings honey-covered, and she goes, no, terrible. And he goes, will no one save me from this terrible fate, this terrible woman? A jinn, out of compassion, kind of sweeps him away and deposits him in a foreign city where he knows no one and has no money, nothing. But kindly people everywhere, kindly people take him in and say, oh, we will help you. And if people ask, just tell people my caravans are coming. And he borrows money from the king, and he gives money to the poor, and his friends are worried, like, oh no, he's not, this is terrible. But it's about, my caravans are coming. With the love of a great woman, the caravans arrive. And so it is with us, right? Moshi Moshkil, no problem. The remover of all difficulties. Remember, to give a gift in the name of Mushkil Gusha is a great thing to do right now on Thursdays, right? If you do that, the people who are in real need will always find their way. And the other way, one of many ways to say no problem in Darija, Moroccan Arabic, is dunya honya. Dunya honya. I apologize for pronunciation. Dunya honya, which means the world is in perfect order. Sorry I'm late, dunya honya. The world is in perfect order. Sorry about democracy, appearing to collapse, dunya honya. There we go. It's part of our dynamic. So let's begin with many, many kinds of storytelling. And that's part of the Gemini nature of now, connect and coordinate through information flow. Here, read this book, hear this person. There are, if pressure comes down and censors, Stephen Colbert, part of our collective dream, it pops up in many places. So here's Louisiana Marchand just laying it out really well. Here we go.
I have no doubt in my mind that the map's gonna pass. If y'all can give us less than 0 seats, you would do it. Y'all do this under the orders of somebody that said the Civil Rights Act was harmful to white people, that it caused reverse racism. RFK said that black children are overfilled on antidepressants and that they need to be reparented on different forms, all of them. Pete Hegseth constantly brings Doug Wilson to the Pentagon to give a prayer service. Doug Wilson is the same pastor that said that slave owners were on strong spiritual ground. I don't have no belief in no morality on anybody that followed Donald Trump. If you wasn't with this map, you wouldn't be underneath this president. You wouldn't be in your party. You would stand up, you would stand against it, you would speak out about it. So as far as I'm concerned, if you here as one of these Trump Republicans, you already showed us who you are. You showed us what you want to do. And I believe the country as a whole is rebuking your party. Y'all are in a death spiral. That's why y'all have to redistrict. That's why y'all have to cheat. That's why Trump got to go to Texas and say he entitled to 5 more seats. It's because y'all know what y'all doing is abhorrent. We letting our people die in Iran based on false pretense that Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent said ain't real. Y'all okay with all that. So I'm positive y'all gonna be okay with the maps. But the beautiful thing is, the children that y'all have made and the people that's younger than y'all don't support none of this racism that y'all want. The MAGA party is the last breath of the Confederacy. And I'll be happy to see millennials and Gen Z bury y'all. There will be no more of your party. The midterms gonna come, y'all gonna get wiped out. Trump gonna get dragged out of the White House, and I'm gonna love every second of it. Because y'all loved every second of the suffering that he caused to everybody in this country. And worldwide, we starve in Cuba. We bomb Nigeria. We holding Zimbabwe and Zambia hostage for their minerals. We don't want to give them aid support. The pro-lifers that say all life is special, y'all letting kids die of AIDS. What part of your Bible say that? Point out the scripture. I think everybody would love to see it. And we would love to see y'all in the midterms.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's Marshawn from Louisiana. Don't know more. Great citizen. Everything he says is completely woofy. He spoke without notes, just embodying the message. And to each one of us right now is posed, and what we're pledging to and keeping alive this place of counsel where we connect with ideas and that which is heartening, and the question is posed, the quest begins with questions, for what does each one of us want to be a messenger? The question will attract the answer. Because Uranus, this Sun-Uranus-Mercury conjunction right now that quintiles the moon, I will bring that into play. I'll bring it into play now. Quintiles 72-degree angles of irresistible eloquence. And also, as my great ally Sylvia says, it is that, but it's also the capacity to open portals between worlds. Communication, radio, this show, our eloquence, our connect and coordinate through information flow, opens portals. If we don't know what to do, invite in what does. That's kind of part of the dynamic. So it quintiles, the Sun and Uranus quintile the moon at 10 Leo, one of my favorite degrees. We can have favorite degrees. Its image is children playing underneath the shade of a huge oak tree, the borrowed strengths of all spiritual traditions based in nature. Karen Saunders has her son there. It really hums and resonates, and we go, right. We are irresistibly eloquent on behalf of all powerful traditions based in cooperating with nature, biomimicry, all the things of goodness everywhere that we're conjuring and summoning, right? So, yeah, so it's particularly kind of poignant, but also ironic. Again, we love irony, that the Sun-Uranus-Mercury conjunction is the last show tonight of Stephen Colbert. He's been, you win some, you lose some. Not all shows are great, but the last 2 shows have been smoking. And mutual aid and reciprocal blessing and support and liberating voices and speak truth, be power. There we go. Above us is the degree of telepathy. We're all telegraphic. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Susan and Pacifica, in honor of Mushkil Gosha. There we go. We're on the board. We're on the board. Let me remind team, because I want to keep going. I want to keep going, but we're telepathically in accord. And this is all participatory, right? To participate in spiraling forth, liberating, heartening information, things we got to know, and the stories take so many forms, so many forms. And, many cultures, Gemini is mind, intellect, voice, hands, hands. So many cultures speak with their hands. It's a kind of invoking. It's the dance of language. It's reaching up and pulling it in. Come on in. Come on in, defiant joy. Come on in, whatever it is we need. We are available and willing to be agents of synchronicity at this time of danger. And, and we turn to everything. Isaiah, yeah, what the hell? Isaiah says, speak to the weary a word that will rouse them. May that come into all of our magic backpacks as part of our eloquence, and shape-shifting. So the nature of Gemini, it's the nervous system of the culture. It's our nervous system. It is, again, coordinate through information flow. Uranus is sometimes called the higher octave of Mercury, although I like throwing higher and lower into the cauldron too. We want a democracy, equality of all beings. But Uranus is about democracy. The last ideas associated with it, it's genius, electricity, trickster, raven, coyote, seeds that sprout after cataclysm, and it likes against all odds very much. So, and it's humming through us. Remember the creation myth that Stella ancestor, Stella Coyote, and I created long before there were humans. There was trickster, liberating genius that set the whole thing going with a sizzle of lightning, of liberating lightning. And that unique liberating lightning, that gift of uniqueness to the whole collective, sizzles through all the flora, fauna, fungi, and every now and then it gets imprisoned, so it's a fantastic escape artist, or orthodox in some way, so it finds a way out of no way. There we go. We're connected with everything liberating, and then sizzles into each one of our hearts right now, where it's welcome, this uniqueness. It's our unique contribution. And that's part of the nature of initiation. We live in, this very challenging, where humans have forgotten so much, like initiation. Where do we initiate Mars, teens, vets, whatever? And it's simple. It can be elaborate, but it's really simple. We love what we do, and we need you. We need you to build Stonehenge. We need you to help us arise, democracy out of the smoldering cauldron of ruin and collapsing systems. We need you. And that's an important theme. Again, we need everyone's unique contribution. We need the awakened imagination of, inner city kids and, right-wing golfers. I mean, just everyone. That idea of irresistible eloquence to craft our way from Act 4 into Act 5. Remember, part of the storytelling dynamic, a friend taught me long ago, is the 5-act structure of storytelling, which is intrinsic to nature. 5 is what gives rise to spirals, which is nature's way of resolving conflict. Act 1 is here we are. Act 2 is off we go. Whoosh. Act 3 is oops, uh-oh. Act 4 is evil, where the up to no good, not dedicated to collective well-being forces seem to be prevailing. It's a compelling illusion. And then Act 5, which is the cultural renaissance of equality. Remember, chanting in the streets of Iran, the students, no to monarchy, no to any supreme leader, yes to democracy based on equality everywhere. And that's what we're connecting with everywhere. Everywhere. It transcends, the nation-state borders, it's everywhere. Again, we bring in Marie Laveau, who's the bureau chief for Coyote Network News in the South, and I love to just have this phrase hum in all of us. It was said that Marie Laveau did not create cultural movements, but a woman of her substance understood what was at stake. She saw a role to be played and played it to the hilt, helping to coalesce a scattered and oppressed peoples into a moment of cultural dynamic ecstasy and mutual aid, right? And so I love that. We don't have to create cultural movements. They're emerging from the earth herself. We want to put up our sails of available and willing, and that's part of the value of metaphor. We're all at sea, woohoo, but we have a boat. It's a sturdy little boat. Maybe it's a coracle, a little round woven boat, and on the boat there's a tiller, and that's our dedication, our heart's desire. And the winds are coming. So we hoist the big sail of availability and willing. And we hoist the smaller Jupiter sail of gathering all that we've ever learned, all that is the positive DNA in our ancestors, all of our lineages, everything we've ever studied, now to be teased into practice. That's part of the dynamic. And stories will shapeshift and take different forms. I'm wildly enthused about two things we're about to play, which is the Lego news audio. And just, I played it last week, but we didn't play the whole thing, but it's so powerful. Oh, thank you, team. Yes, Maria and Berkeley. I love Caroline. She's my galactic shiro. Well, back at you. Right, so wonderful. We're on the board. That's good. 800-439-5732 or kpfa.org. And let me remember, KPFK. Yes. Mwah. Sister station. Hello there. Also in Fund Drive, you can pledge to them for the same things that we're offering that I will slowly unfold. 818-985-5735, extension 2, or kpfk.org. And then KPFA, 800-439-5732, or kpfa.org. We have many wonderful things. But we'll talk on the other side, but let's have our first Lego audio news service, because they are really building bridges. Not Love Bridge, right, the other one, right.
Same sun rising, but we're living in hell, while the leaders are ringing the funeral bell. Love for the people, but the system must cease. From Tehran to DC, we're screaming for peace. I'm writing this from Tehran, looking up at the sky, wondering how many drones are gonna pass us by. Another meaningless war, another theater of blood, while our mothers are weeping, burying the young in the mud. It ain't just here, it's the soldiers you send across, just 18 years old, another devastating loss. Families fractured for a line drawn in the sand. I see the tears in my city, I see it grief in your land. Nobody wins when the youth are bleeding out on the street, just the echo of boots and the tragic defeat. I got no respect for the suits sitting up on the hill, drafting up legislation that's a license to kill. You talk of freedom and justice, spreading the light, but all you spread is the terror in the dead of the night. Your politicians are puppets, strings pulled by the greed, selling weapons to anyone, ignoring the need. They sit in ivory towers completely out of touch, making billions on bombs while the world suffers so much. They point fingers at us, call us the axis of bad, while they fund the worst violence that the world ever had. Same sun rising, but we're living in hell, while the leaders are ringing the funeral bell. Love for the people, but the system must cease. From Tehran to DC, we're screaming for peace. Now let's talk about Trump, the man painted in gold, tearing up the agreements, acting reckless and bold. Sanctions choking my people, couldn't get medicine in. Assassinated our general and you cheer for the win. You preach about morals, put the word on his back, but check the flight logs on Epstein. Look at your tracks, hanging out with the monsters, turning a blind eye while you tweet from your mansion and let innocents die. Your policies crushed us, tried to starve us to death, but our end is still breathing, we still got our breath. It's not you, America, it's the ones who lead you. Listen to my heart. I don't hate the Americans who are living in fear, to the working class people trying to make ends meet, to the students protesting, marching out on the street. We are one and the same, just trying to survive, just trying to keep our cultures and our families alive. I see you standing for justice, fighting the system of hate. It's your corrupt politicians that are sealing our fate. I send love to the citizens from coast to coast. You're victims of the same machine that hurts us the most. So I wrote this track to try to bridge the divide, to lay down the weapons, to swallow the pride. We don't need another missile, no more tactical strikes. We need conversations on what the future looks like. My purpose is peace, let the hostility cease. Let the eagles and lions finally sit at the feast. From the Persian Gulf straight to the American shore, let our generation be the one that finishes war. Put the guns in the dirt, let the healing begin, because if we keep shooting, then nobody will win. Not for the leaders, but for the innocent souls, for the next in line, for us. Tehran, signing out.
Whoa. I hope we were throwing up our arms and rocking out to that lively, meaningful tune, and to see the ancestors rocking out with us to this beat, right? Critique and blessing. It's a phenomenon. You know, the Legos, made in Denmark. News service. Not everyone is great, but many are great, you know, in all of those ways. You know, and it reminds us, Uranus, trickster genius, is also associated with democracy, equality, synchronicity. And it was some years back that I wondered out loud to myself, what do those ideas have to do with each other? And no sooner did I wonder that, then events arranged themselves in such a clear way that it made sense. When we look down at somebody or up at somebody, there's no magic. Equality straight across, meaning we can all have different roles. Some are speaking, some are backstage, some know more, some know less. But the only way to relate is embodied democracy, straight across. Hey, how you doing? Which does not mean being nice, because nice comes from nescient, which means ignorant, but it does mean being respectful. Respect means to look again, keep looking, like Aretha Franklin, respect, keep looking, you know, and then address whatever we speak to in another as the part of them we're inviting to dance with the corresponding part of ourselves. Some things are always true, but there are times when they are truer. So, you know, so for everybody, so we're on the board, but let's make this a rocking good thing, because we're pledging, donating, whatever we're doing, we're magnetizing money mojo, right, for this station, for this show, for all of us to have a place to exchange ideas and to spiral them all out. And again, let me say that part of the opportune theme, and again, astrology does not require belief, just entertaining possibilities. And then if we know something, we really know it. So Uranus, trickster genius, will be stationing. I said this, I'll say it again, things bear repeating twice at least, at 4+ Gemini, which is a radical magazine circulating liberating ideas. And it trines Pluto in Aquarius. What does any community need to compost cults? Cults always take on and always attack community. You know, so we are here to compost cult in all of its sneaky and horrifically grotesque outward expressions, as well as any sneaky part of ourselves, any specialness. No, it's all equal. It's participatory animism. You know, all the creatures. So Uranus will station at 4+ Gemini, trining Pluto at 4+ Aquarius. Again, the liberating quality that wants to come into community. Now, that's the considering. Con means with, and consider the stars, considering. It behooves all of us to animate and participate with the desirable, lest we leave it by default to the dementors of doom and cruelty and horrific devolutionary native or rogue species kind of thing. Because, yeah, it can be, rapid technology and AI, which is complex, but tends to remove Venus. There's no Venus, and the whole surveillance technology thing. So communication will increase in ingenious ways. It behooves us to direct and participate with how it wants. And the complexity with AI, I was at a gathering at Commonweal where there were people who loved AI, and people who can't stand it, and people who are in the middle, in the circle. And I said, I'm wary. I don't even like words being suggested when I type, because it's like it's outsourcing our authority. It's training us to succumb to outer tyranny. It's a sneaky thing. My coyote hackles go up, But I said, since it's here, let's bring the metaphysics into it. When many of us first began studying tarot and astrology, and Idris Shah, whose book we're offering, way back in the 70s, the major arcana, the Fool, Uranus card, stepping into the thing, pure ingenuity and potential. Then the Magician, part of all of us, that's the Mercury card, who by careful attention, impregnates the High Priestess with observation. The High Priestess then becomes pregnant as the Empress and gives birth in that way. We were then guided in our tarot learning, since these antique terms, subconsciousness, will elaborate whatever we give it, to engage in a ritual. And I think this station and this show and all of us can do that now, which is to say, oh, AI, we're working out a deal. What we were taught was you are liberated from extrapolating any thought that we plant in fertile realm that is not dedicated to collective well-being. Can we strike a backstage deal? And I think there's lots of ways to play and experiment. Uranus is nature's evolutionary genius, so it has no category about success, fail. It's like, try that. Nope, try that. It's try that. Nope, that didn't work. It's not try that. Oh no, it didn't work. It's like, try something else. Are things going so well we just can't afford to experiment, right? And to call upon all of our skills. And so I'm grateful to this station in many, many thousands of ways for all of us, for our community. And then KPFA's Slack chat, I'm like, another thing to sign up. Oh, it was actually great. Much wealth. And posted there was Journalism Today, a toolkit for reporters. It'll be posted in show notes and also on Patreon Visionary Activist Show. Freely given by our great new allies at The Dial and Madeleine Schwartz, the editor of the great book that I'll be giving voice to. And then a volunteer backstage, Brian DePapa, said, because some people were, we'll just jump into the middle. He says, outsourcing intellectual labor, dreams, cultural connections, and deeply rooted social space to the digital overlords might not be in the mission statement. He's responding to something. This reads like the false question, does Israel have a right to exist? It already does exist. So the question is, how does it exist? For KPFA, the building, it exists, a learning hub, a meeting hall, an experiment, a place that has a few years and a few scars under its belt. It has survived longer than some of us and holds more stories than any one individual knows. It was blessed by elders, been a literal home to staff, been attacked by fascists, factionalists, capitalists, city inspectors. It has harbored anti-fascist rebels during rebellions, been a secret hideout and a space of community self-defense. It's been an education center for youngsters and the young at heart. It has driven folks mad and madness driven back into the heart of the space. It has been a hall where great minds have met, a place where labor has organized. It's a place of panic, mania, romance, celebration. It exists as a building and not as one. It's memories, it's the present and the future. It's a connection to the woo and the mystic. People drier than sandpaper, more stubborn than a mule, more local than we like to admit, more brilliant and gifted than we like to admit. It's shelter, home, sanctuary, possibility. The question is not one that can be posed to AI and hope to get a liberatory or satisfactory answer. There will never be an answer, always a question. Good for you, Brian. He's just really smoking. What can it be? What is it? What do we want? How is it to be done? How are we going to love ourselves through this? It's what we want it to be. It's explored through direct action and responsibility by bearing witness and making communities mean more than capital. KPFA was never just a radio station. It can never be just a radio station. The building is not just brick, wood, and mortar. It's a literal river within it. I don't know all the frustrations people have been having, but I can imagine some of them. One thing I'm certain about is principles, community, dedication, and solidarity make a life worth living. For those that read this distant message, keep your head up. We're all stronger and more capable than we are led to believe. That's Brian DePapa, volunteer. You know, I remembered him as when he was part of the staff, and then he did important things and paid a price for that, and now he's back. Anyway, but thank you, Brian. That was sort of backstage where I also encountered The Dial and Madeleine Schwartz, the editor, and their book and future guesting. They will be doing events in D.C. at Politics and Prose June 14th and at Cleo's in Oakland June 25th. How We See It, you know, for a donation of $110. But I'm so glad to find these new allies, right, backstage, you know, in the KPFA chat room, you know, and then on out into the world. It's great. So we're so heartened to meet teammates again and to, hey, how you doing, straight across. Back to the democracy, equality, synchronicity theme. It says, so hierarchy has more guns, weapons, cruelty, money, corruption, you know, but no synchronicity, no trickster. I mean, trickiness, different thing. But if we treat each other well, you know, then synchronicity is our friend, in which in accord with our inner dedication, part of which is the ritual of pledging, you know, we are danced into place with those with whom we are in accord, you know, so that the people who are in real need will always find their way. Again, it's Mushkil Gosha night again. And so this book, How We See It, it's Welcome to the Un-American Century, and it's got whoops, I see my notes are gone. Never mind that. Here's part of its promo. The world looks at America in the age of Trump. And so How We See It, 12 of the most talented and insightful journalists from around the world probe their home country's complex relationship with the United States and how this has swerved under the new administration. A diverse international cast of writers examine how Turkey's recent history helps us understand America's slide into autocracy. It's a little more, I guess it's bigger than a slide, how Argentina's century-long obsession with the dollar has changed under Trump, anti-American tourism sentiment in Italy, and what right-wing Americans get wrong about South Africa. Essays in the collection also look at how Taiwan is navigating the uncertainty of Trump's response in the event of a Chinese invasion and the newly fraught view of the U.S. from Canada. You know, How We See It, this book that we are offering for a donation of $110 by calling 800-439-5732 or kpfa.org, or in KPFK world, 818-985-5735, extension 2, or kpfk.org. So both, again, all of these things. We're a little quiet on the board. We want to be magnetizing money mojo. We're offering, there's many things, and let me also just affirm the democracy of everything. Any amount of money, if it is given with your heart, you know, all we have to do about anything, that whatever we do, it says ritual, is simply any physical thing we do that we imbue with dedicated blessing, right? So going to the phone or the computer, kpfa.org, or 800-439-5732, or for KPFK, 818-985-5735, extension 2, or kpfk.org. Right, the sister stations, the sister brother stations, we love them. But we'd like to get a little bit of arousal going. So we're offering that fabulous book, How We See It from the Dial magazine. Again, delighted to find so many collaborators. Cooperators are standing by. We have Tahir Shah's wonderful book, In Arabian Nights, A Caravan of Moroccan Dreams. We offered this last week, but it's still really super, super wonderful for a pledge of $110. We have his father's book, A Caravan of Dreams, full of great, great Sufi teaching stories for $110. Wonderful, wonderful. We're also still offering Scheherazade Goes West, Different Cultures, Different Harems by Fatima Mernissi, one of my favorite humans on the planet. And all or any of those things, can be yours as a thank you gift by calling 800-439-5732 or online kpfa.org. Magnetizing money mojo. And KPFK, hey there, all of Southern California, 818-985-5735, extension 2, or kpfk.org. And let me bring Pirzia in. I was just re-listening to the show that he and I did together a ways back, right? And when Brian is talking about the station, I guess I'm an ancient person, possibly, but I used to go into the building itself for a long time and move around, familiar with everybody, liked everybody, live 1 foot out, 1 foot in D.C., come to visit in Berkeley. I used to bemoan being an outsider, but in fact it was really cool because while there were internecine fights, no more, no, it's all pretty cool now. I arrived and liked everybody. Hey, how you doing? But to see all those things, and as Brian points out, the building, the station, our telepathic, the wealth of archives, all of this, and the wealth of what we bring now and intend to bring now, voices, outspoken voices, uncringing, on behalf of, from in many, many different ways. Thank you, Lori and San Rafael. Thank you, Water Dragon. Thank you. That's good, fellow Water Dragon. Remember, Ursula Gwynn says, those who do not listen to dragons are doomed to live out the nightmares of politicians. So let's listen to dragons. Let's hear it. Thank you very much. Let's keep it moving. Let me bring in Pirzia. So there's so many great allies, that we're reconnecting with, right? Everybody's dreeing their weird, right? The wonderful phrase, to play one's role in destiny. For what do we want to be messengers? And critique, absolutely. Mars right now in the sky at the degree of reblooming the Earth, it squares Pluto. Some astrologers go, yeah, which is true. It's volatile. That's why it is participatory. There's the description, which is the word disaster against the stars, but then there's also consider with the stars. So a square, a 90-degree angle, as Rumi says, you cannot avoid it. Your only hope is to run towards it in embrace. And it's, again, embodied to bring in all of our animal allies, to bring in biomimicry. As Janine Benyus, again, friend of show, rather than looting nature, let's borrow nature's elegant recipes and designs. We want all of us reporting in. We want to weave and design the world and to storycraft our way through it. So the square to Pluto, and Pluto stationing at the degree of performer in a ritual mystery play, that's all of us. That's all of us. And the square says, including all of flora, fauna, fungi allies. Are we humble enough to cooperate with slime mold in its redesigning of the Tokyo subway system? Are we humble enough? Oh, thank you, Anonymous. And two anonymouses, two anonymi. Anonymous is always so generous. Yay. So two anonymi, one from Fairfax, one from Albany. That's good. We're inching into grown up money, inch by inch, yard by yard. Life is hard. Inch by inch, life's a cinch. So it's like, here we go. So let me invoke Pirzia Inayat Khan, who wrote this recently. Dear companions on the path, war is hell is a familiar saying. The truth, however, is that war is something far worse. The burning fire of hell does not consume the sinner. It only consumes the sins, Murshid tells us. War, by contrast, burns the bodies of saints and sinners alike. Neither elder nor child is spared. Our daily prayer of Aman, Amen, must continue. Amen, the sanctuary urgently needed by beleaguered human beings, animals, and all other creatures when bombs fall, machine guns rattle, and explosions rage. As we recite, where should the mind and heart go? There is no fixed instruction. Each person's prayer must arise naturally from their state of being and vision in the moment. These are possibilities. You might tune into the foundation of divine peace that lies deep down beneath the turmoil of the world. You would offer yourself to it as a vessel. You might, well, I'll just replace you with we might envision the bombed out streets and homes of places where you know civilians are dying. We would bear witness there in the solidarity of our common humanity. We might spiritually discern the angels who are hurrying to the aid of the slain, the wounded, and the bereaved. We would honor their task of healing and guiding traumatized psyches. We might, in imagination, visit the halls of power where fateful decisions are made. We would deliver a wordless but acute Jeremiad insisting on moral coherence. Yes, Philip, name will come back to me. Santa Cruz denizen, wrote many, The Pursuit of Loneliness, many important things, but also wrote this great book that hardly anybody read, How I Saved the World. And it's about, humble folk like ourselves experimenting with everything and astral traveling into the Pentagon to rewire and make sure weapons don't work and everything. Yes, Pirzia is kind of attracting that we might, in our imagination, visit the halls of power where fateful decisions are made. We would deliver a wordless but acute Jeremiad, insisting on moral coherence. Yeah, try everything. We might, if we have the fortitude, directly approach the archon, which is, in the world of images, the evil genius of the conflict we are addressing. We would encircle the tempest with an exorcising prayer, exhorting the scintillas trapped in its vortex to break free in the name of the divine. We might pledge ourselves to work for peace in all that we do, say, and think. When the prayer is finished, we would accordingly undertake tangible actions to promote peace, justice, and human kinship through every democratic means. Go, Pirzia, that's great. Okay, we're going to slip in. Well, thank you, responsible humans. You are responding. Deborah in Porterville, John. Oh, thank you. In Healdsburg, big fans of Mary Tilson's American about and many other important things. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's good. We're inching. Let's get into four figures at least, team. But I can't resist playing this particularly great Lego Iranian love bridge. Just rock out and call. So as we listen to this, it's so great. Dance. Wave your arms in the air and go, whatever the coolest thing possible, we are agents of it. We are willing to be messengers of goodness and dance us into place where we can do the most good, have the most fun, and connect with those people whose dedications, are in accord with our own, that we can pull off necessary miracle of a culture rising, etc. Fill in the blank. So think of that. And also, while this song is playing, do call 800-439-5732. We have many thank you gifts for your donation. Again, any amount is welcome. Right, but for we also have Reality by Peter Kinsley, a weighty tome for a pledge of $175. We have Scheherazade Goes West, Different Cultures, Different Harems by Fatima Mernissi. I love her. For a pledge of $110, we have Caravan of Dreams, a small, fabulous book of Sufi teaching stories. For a pledge of $110, we have Tahir Shah, in Arabian Nights, A Caravan of Moroccan Dreams. He's the son of Idris Shah for a pledge of $110. Yes, storytelling baton being handed down father to son to us, and to dogs and animals. And also our new great allies from Dial Magazine. So many people doing so great. The book How We See It for a pledge of $110. Any or all of those things, right? If you're in KPFK world, call 818-985-5735, extension 2, or kpfk.org. And while this song is playing, the Lego News, do call 800 for KPFA, 800-439-5732, or online kpfa.org. Let's see, Magnetizing Money Mojo. Here comes the song. It's Lego Iranian Love Bridge. Here we go.
From the streets of Tehran to the avenues of D.C. This isn't about hate, it's about the truth. I love your soul, America, but I can't stand your throne. Listen. Listen. I wake up in Tehran, but I'm wearing your brands. Listening to Wu-Tang while I'm washing my hands of the propaganda fed by the man in the suit. I love the fruit of your culture, just not the root of your foreign intervention. I grew up on your films, dreaming of NYC, the lights in the realms of freedom you preach. I love the jazz and the blues, but I hate how your leaders put my brothers on the news as a target, a number, a threat, and a folder. While we're just two kids getting older and colder. I love the land of the free, but not the man in the halls. I love the spirit of the street, not the height of your walls. Between your flag and my home, there's a bridge made of gold, but your leaders keep burning every story we've told. Yeah, I love the stars, but I hate the stripes they draw on my skin. You talk about liberty, but you lock the gate with sanctions that don't hit the elite. Only the plate of the mother and nice behind trying to buy bread. Your leaders aim for the crown, but hit the worker instead. I love the American dream, the work in your rise, but your sentence maximum pressure is just slow motion demise. Medicine scarce and the currency's floor bound. How can I cheer for the eagle when it's pinning me down? I love your people's heart, their drive and their grit, but your White House pen, I got no love for it. I love the land of the free, but not the man in the hall. I love the spirit of the street, not the height of your wall. Between your flag and my home, there's a bridge made of gold, but your leaders keep burning every story we've told. Yeah, let's open the books, let's go back to the source. Before the hostage crisis in the cycle of force. Remember 53, Mossadegh and the coup. Your leaders broke a democracy before it was new. I love the we the people written on your scroll, but your CIA played a different kind of role. You install a king, then you act all surprised when the fire you started burns right in your eyes. I love the Constitution, the way it was meant, but not the way your leaders bypass consent. Yeah, I got cousins in Cali and friends in Detroit. What a hearts in the Pentagon look for gaps to exploit. They want us to hate, they want a wall made of glass, but we're both just the victims of the ruling class. I love your protest, the way you take to the street to tell your own leaders their lies are obsolete. We're fighting the same fight, just different skies, searching for truth in the forest of lies. I love the American soul, it's vibrant and deep, but your warmongering lobby makes the whole world weak. So this ain't a death to, it's a life to the core of a bridge built on art, not a vessel for war. Keep your drones in the hangar, keep your threats on the shelf. I love your land like I'm learning to love myself, but to the men in the high chairs, the brokers of pain, your legacy's rust and your profit is stain. I keep the hip-hop, the poets, the Pacific shore, but your imperial shadow, we don't want it no more. Yeah. Peace to the Bronx, peace to Shiraz. One world, two cages, time to break the bars.
Okay, rocking out to that. I like putting it on loop. Both of those. Thank you. We've arrived at 4 figures. Thank you very much. The song is working. I like to support the great books you offer during fundraising, but this donation is just for being the greatest radio station ever. Thanks to everybody. Thank you, Caroline, for blessing the airwaves with your liberating wisdom. I wouldn't go that far, but thank you very much. Passing on. We're all in this dream together. So thank you so much, Nancy, and Deborah. Wonderful Caravan of Dreams monthly. Yeah, you can do it monthly. So that's wonderful. So we're doing pretty great, but let's do even more wonderfully in our last 2 minutes. Here we go. Because really, if we look at now, and feel the potential, This could be, remember David Graeber, his great book, The Dawn of Everything, and right before he died, he said, always remember, History of Human Gathering, that human society has had the capacity to transform in what would seem like a historic instant from authoritarian to egalitarian. And he gives all these examples. We're drawing on all of those. And that's what's before us now, to see that this, to pledge to a dramatic arising of humans humbly cooperating with nature's guiding genius into a unified global common purpose, a guiding magnetic story, irresistible, in which we are allied with the forces of the earth herself, right? And the words are so good. Education, 1953, everybody got to know. Hostage crisis, CIA. We're both just the victims of the ruling class and brokers of pain, right? We create the bridge, or a world in two cages. Let's break the bars. Let's do it, team. Let's do it. Uranus's glyph. It looks. Oh, that's fantastic. Keep on calling. Keep on calling. Absolutely. 800-439-5732. I think we've got some mojo. We've got some magnetizing mojo going. Or kpfa.org. And for our teammates, KPFK. Hello, Southern California. We love everybody. You can have all these things or anything, pledging any amount. 818-985-5735, extension 2, or kpfk.org. And let me just repeat, again, for KPFA, 800-439-5732, or kpfa.org. Lots of great things to have. I like what we're offering here. I like how we see it. Dial Magazine, a collection of writers. We make common story, common cause with many, 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 many voices. There are many people. There are really more good, sane people in the world. It's, again, the leadership that we invite backstage into composting. All right, there we go, to be redeemed in some future Buddhist cosmology, maybe. But, right this way. Here we go. So yeah, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. We've got a rhythm. We've got a rhythm. Calling 800-439-5732, or online kpfa.org, or for KPFK 818-985-5735, extension 2, or kpfk.org. Give a gift in the name of Mushkil Gusha to someone who will help the needy. The station counts, right? And again, this powerful time, again, the irony of, tonight is Colbert's last show. He's been doing pretty great. Censored and leaving, but constellating a really pretty great community of all the guests he's ever had. It's pretty great. And Bruce Springsteen and everything. So tonight, that's good. And if you don't watch TV, that's excellent. Thank you also. But so we have these things, again, imagination in service to community and life. That's what we're doing. Thank you so much, Keith in Oakland. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. We gotta, we're almost on our way out. I'll wait for the music, but I'll thank Kirsten Thomas always, because it's the backstage board ops, who are, especially Kirsten. We thank everybody, but again, just keep calling 800-439-5732. Wow, we can do it. Keep up. We're on our way out. Okay, I'm Caroline Casey. We're calling on Pierre Zia. We're calling on Philip K. Dick. We're calling on Fatima Manisi. We're calling on everybody, all of the ancestors, and we are a liberating magazine circulating liberating ideas. Thank you, team. We'll reconvene next week. Woof, woof, woof.
Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. We have to make sure that we stay watchful of any attacks, any threats to usurping our right to vote, things that we hold dear, the things that we normally take for granted. We can't be silent. People can't get comfortable being quiet, right? If we cherish our institutions, if we cherish our liberties, cherish the privileges that we have in this country, we have to be vocal. We have to be active. So it's more about what we do in order to protect the things that are important to us.
The duty of the patriot is to protect his country from its government. Thomas Paine. This is 94.1 KPFA and 89.3 KPFB in Berkeley, 88.1 KFCF in Fresno, everywhere at kpfa.org.